Hey, welcome to today's Explainer. Look, if you're even a little bit committed to personal growth, you've probably noticed a pretty frustrating pattern in your life. Today, we're taking the source material and breaking down how to completely reframe our emotional triggers. We're going to shift them from this heavy source of guilt into an absolutely empowering tool for internal control. It's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Why do we keep reacting to the exact same things and honestly, the exact same people over and over again? You know, you read all the books, you listen to all the material, and yet you still find yourself blowing up or just completely shutting down. Well, here's the hard truth we pulled from our sources today. It's not because you aren't trying hard enough. It's actually because you're trying to control your reactions instead of understanding them. Your reactions, they aren't coming from the present moment at all. They're coming from an unprocessed past. Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll be hitting the truth about triggers, the meaning-making machine, the space between, the lens of others, and finally, the stoic mindset. All right, starting right off with section 1, the truth about triggers. So, let's clear up a massive misconception right out of the gate. Being triggered is not a problem, and it's definitely not something to be ashamed of. A trigger is literally just a signal. It's pointing you straight toward an unhealed wound. Every single time you get triggered, you're being shown a sensitive, reactive part of yourself that just really needs some attention. And this brilliantly illustrates the point. Imagine pouring salt on healthy, healed skin. What happens? Absolutely nothing, right? No reaction. But if you pour that exact same salt on an unhealed wound, oh man, it hurts like hell. The triggering event, whatever they said or did, is just the salt. The intense pain doesn't come from the salt itself. It comes from the fact that the wound underneath hasn't healed yet. Because of this, our instinctive response is, well, entirely backwards. We usually look outward, right? We ask, why would they say that to me? What did I do to make them act like that? But to really master your emotions, you've got to look inward. You have to take full ownership and ask the deeper, tougher question, why did that affect me so deeply? You literally have to locate your own wound. Moving right along to section 2, the meaning-making machine. To really grasp why that wound gets so agitated, we have to look inside our own heads. We need to see how our mind constantly attaches meaning to everyday, totally neutral events. Your brain is essentially a meaning-making machine. It's running all day long, taking neutral circumstances, neutral comments, and instantly assigning significance to them. And this meaning? It's heavily shaped by your past, your identity, and, you guessed it, those unhealed wounds we just talked about. Here's the real secret, though. It's that assigned meaning that actually creates your emotional response, not the event itself. Let's move to and see how this builds in the real world. Say you get cut off in traffic. That's step 1, the event. Now, one person might experience this and feel absolutely nothing, just another Tuesday. But someone else goes straight to step 2, where their brain assigns this heavy negative meaning. That person doesn't respect me. They think they're more important than I am. Boom. That meaning instantly triggers step 3, the emotion, which is blowing up in anger. You aren't actually reacting to the car. You're reacting to the story your brain just spun about the car. Which brings us to section 3, the space between. So what does this all mean? How do we hit the brakes on this automatic, high-speed train of reactions? How do we stop being completely hijacked by emotional patterns we've been running for, 25 years? We have to find what the renowned psychologist Viktor Frankl called the space between. He famously noted that between a stimulus and our response, there's a tiny space. And in that tiny space, that's where our power to choose our response lives. Right now, for a lot of us, there's zero space. Something happens and bam, the reaction is instantaneous. But true, extreme self-awareness, it lives right there in that gap. Now, I want to be clear. Creating this space doesn't mean you turn into some kind of emotionless statue. That's absolutely not the goal. The goal is to feel your feelings without letting them shove you into the passenger seat. When you create that space, you can actually notice the feeling, sit with it for a second, and get incredibly curious. You start asking yourself, wait, why do I always get so mad when this happens? What does this remind me of from my past that just isn't healed yet? All right, let's pivot a bit to section 4, the lens of others. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is once you start mastering this internally, you realize that this exact same psychological process is happening inside every single person you interact with. It completely changes how you view interpersonal dynamics. People do not see you clearly. They just don't. They see you filtered entirely through their own past, their own beliefs, and their own unhealed wounds. If you see a 40-year-old man screaming in a grocery store, you aren't really looking at an adult. You're looking at a hurting little child inside an adult's body, projecting his wounds onto the world. People can only ever understand you from their own level of perception. And honestly, this realization is so incredibly freeing. Think about how your perfectly healthy traits can be completely misunderstood. If you set healthy boundaries, someone with abandonment wounds is going to perceive that as rejection. If you're confident, a highly insecure person will swear you're arrogant. If you're just being honest, someone who avoids the truth will feel like they're under attack. It's the exact same you, just viewed through an incredibly clouded lens. You really have to stop exhausting yourself trying to explain your intentions to people who are just committed to misunderstanding you. Now, of course, this doesn't mean you just ignore all human feedback and go rogue, but you've got to learn the difference. Real, valid feedback sounds like someone taking ownership. They'll say, "Hey, this is how your behavior impacted me." Projection, on the other hand, sounds more like, "This is who I've decided you are." If you aren't careful, you'll end up shrinking yourself, softening your edges, and carrying around these false labels that were never yours to begin with, all just to make a clouded person feel comfortable. And that brings us to our final part, Section 5, the Stoic Mindset. Once you really get that you cannot control other people's lenses, and you absolutely cannot control the triggering events of the world, you're left with one incredibly powerful philosophy, Stoicism. And there's a good reason it's making a massive comeback right now. The Stoics understood that the world is always going to be completely unpredictable. People are going to say hurtful things. You can't control that. But what you can completely master, your thoughts, your responses, and your inner state of peace. You literally build your peace from the inside out. So the crucial point here is that we have to redefine what success actually looks like on this journey. True healing isn't about reaching some magical, enlightened, monk-like state where life never bothers you again. Real healing is when a comment that used to ruin your entire week barely even lands anymore. The exact same situation happens, but it just passes right through you, simply because you finally healed the wound underneath. Ultimately, finding this kind of inner peace means looking in the mirror and fully accepting yourself. If you truly accept who you are, it renders everyone else's clouded, messy acceptance completely irrelevant. You don't need everyone else to understand you, because, well, you understand you. I want to leave you with this final thought today. The goal of all this isn't to become some unfeeling robot who never reacts. The real work is looking inward. So the next time you feel that intense surge of anger or defensiveness or pain, just pause. Find that tiny space between stimulus and response and ask yourself, what unhealed part of me feels like it absolutely needs to react right now?